Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm really excited to talk about today's subject. It's how this channel started all those years ago with Gamergate, and now a feminist a feminist activist group, of all things, a feminist activist group has declared unanimously that Gamergate 2.0 is in full swing. How it started and how it's going, huh? the more things change, the more they say the same. Like, you would think after fourth wave feminism, the one where trans women are women, and they coined the term TERFs and all of that. Like, you would think that the ideologues would understand, okay, maybe censorship is actually bad. Maybe if we build the one rig, we allow Sauron to control it and they will use it against us. But no, because this is not even about ideology. Like, I generally don't think that the ladies at Collective Shout are actually feminists. I think it's about grifting. I think it's about creating social networks. I think it's about tearing other people down because it's fun. And more importantly, I think it's about the donations and the contracts that they get with governments. I mean, some of these ladies have absolutely no meaningful qualifications, right? Like, you're a journalist. Like, okay. Right. Like, I guess, like, society really covets and is desperately in need of journalists. Meanwhile, people with actual qualifications, you know, like coding, like people that actually build stuff and do something difficult, they have their lives made harder by the individuals that, I'm actually thinking, you know how Karl Marx made his Communist Manifesto, where he talked about the haves and the have-nots? We need something like this for university degrees. Like, there should be some university degrees where you have, like, people that get a lot of prestige for doing jack shit. And then you have, like, people that may not even have a university degree, but they do jobs that are essential for society. Like, without them, you literally cannot have civilization. Like, truck drivers, right? Like, if stuff doesn't get moved around, if food doesn't appear in the supermarket, like, people starve. You can have a society without journalists, because, like, anyone can do it. Like, you don't need to go to a university. You can just make a YouTube channel and talk about the news, you know? But you can't have a society without truck drivers or construction workers or plumbers. And these professions are marginalized. So I need to make a manifesto where I'm basically, like, creating a safe name for the haves and the have-nots when it comes to university degrees. Because it's kind of embarrassing that... you would consider someone like social studies or gender studies to be on the same level like a mathematician. Like, what I'm saying is that it's not the subject material, but, like, the difficulty required to be a doctor, right? Like, to understand the human body, the muscles and all that, versus the difficulty required to learn how to nag on Twitter. Like, anyway, right. Let me share the live stream around, because I just woke up. Tomorrow, I will probably summon El Demonio. I will summon Madame Savi. Hopefully, we can have a stream. I'm trying to see if I can work something out with her so that we stream on every Sunday. If not, it is what it is. I'll talk to Loom as well in order to... hopefully have her teach me on how to make my guest appear on screen, because I'm not used to streaming with other people. I'm trying this. It's a new experience for me. Okay, let's look at the chat. Let's see who's in the chat. Blue-haired HR ladies get more than doctors or surgeon, probably. Yeah, it's the priestly class of 2025. That's what the HR departments are. It's like it used to be that way. If you looked at medieval, well, not a medieval, but like a company that would operate during the age of enlightenment or the late age of sales, like they all had priests and bishops in the company in order to make sure that piety is maintained and to set corporate culture. It's pretty much similar here, right? Like, you have the blue-haired activists in order to enforce orthodoxy. And it's getting so bad that the BBC during the pandemic was actually very concerned that diversity is going down because people are at home rather than the office. So, like, at a fundamental level, they understand what's going on. It's the corporations are the ones that are educating people into the left orthodoxy and telling them what to think, not how to think. Savi has a pee-pee. I don't care. Like, I'm not bringing her in to do lewd stuffs with her. I'm bringing her in order to discuss the news and what happened in the previous week. The known male misogynism known as Madame Savi. Yes, we'll talk about that. Apparently, they quoted her, and yet again, they're ashamed of her face. Like, they're ashamed that she's a woman, and they keep trying to hide this. Am I going to have Anita Sarkeesian as a guest? Well, funny enough, Anita Sarkeesian is actually on our side. Well, she's not on our side because she cares about video games, or she even cares about this. She's on our side because she wanted to sell a book, right? So, like, Anita Sarkeesian is a grifter. But I think she's an amazing grifter. I think, like, she is a really good mercenary. Like, you expect the mercenary to backstab you. You expect the mercenary not to care about the cause. But you also expect the mercenary to fight, right? Like, to do damage. And I think Anita Sarkeesian, yeah, like, she could mobilize a pretty decent base on her side, on Blue Sky. And on top of that, it's kind of funny when, like, you'd have Collective Shout accusing you, oh, you're all misogynists, right? But it's kind of difficult to say that about Anita Sarkeesian, because she was in the news. Like, she was at the UN, like her performance in the field is well documented. So, yeah, like, I would have Anita Sarkeesian as a guest on, absolutely. Like, if the opportunity arose, very unlikely, but if it did pop up, yeah. I know people would get upset, but it would be hilarious. Like, that's the main reason I would do it. It's because it's funny. Like, I'm sorry, I don't apply, like, Western morality when it comes to my activism. When it comes to my activism, it's like, yeah, I would ally with Satan if it's promoting the cause, and if it's making people angry. Right? Like, that's it. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, if you're Hitler himself or Stalin or Mao, I don't care. Right? Like, if you're coming here and you're like, how do you feel about video games? I don't think payment processors. All right, come in. You're a guest. Just don't talk about your politics, right? Anita isn't on your side. Well, exactly. She's a mercenary. Like, a mercenary isn't on your side, right? The mercenary doesn't believe in the cause. A mercenary doesn't care about honor or anything else. Like, a mercenary cares about being paid. And a mercenary cares about promoting themselves, right? So, like, once you know that, you can work with the mercenary. Anyway, the chat would melt. Yeah, but it would be entertaining, wouldn't it? Like, that's the purpose. This is why I'm here. It's to entertain people. It's funny. Like, if it's funny, it passes. I don't care. Anita working with the gamers and Carl being pro-banning porn. What a timeline. That actually is a nice observation. See, I did watch Sargon of Akkad and Arch's stream last night. I wanted to join, but I guess I came in a little bit late. The interesting thing was the conversation about pornography, right? And what fascinated me, and this is what I think, and please, like, someone tell this to Sargon, see if he disagrees with me. I don't think he disagrees because it's kind of obvious what he's doing. The only reason he's for banning pornography is because he's upset women are making money. Because, like, this is what I got from watching the stream, right? Like, why am I saying that? Well, when he found out that, when he was told, it's like, okay, but, like, without OnlyFans, you would have brothels again, and you'd have strip clubs and stuff. He doesn't care. Why doesn't he care? Because, like, they're not making as much money. And it's like, okay, so hold on a little bit, right? Like, brothels were insanely profitable, right? Like, the owner, the pimp, right? Like, he would make ridiculous amount of money to the point where he could where he could buy churches and he could use his influence in order to corrupt institutions, right? And you're basically happy with that system. It's like, okay, so if you have a system where the woman makes the money, that's bad. But if you have a system where the man that owns the brothel makes the money, that's okay. Interesting. Now, you know, like, it's his take. If he wants to be like that, that's fine. To me, it's hilarious that you're advocating for censorship when literally in your country, the exact reason, the exact moral concern that you're having is being hijacked in order to make your mother dox herself when she comes on my Discord. Like you're having your country using everything that you're concerned about to justify locking down the internet, and you're going to have your Lotus Eaters age restricted, and you're going to have your readers have to dox themselves in order to talk about your stuff. And you're still doubling down. And at that point, you know what? You deserve it. And it is what it is. You know, like, British people should live how they want. If British people don't want pornography, but they want maximum surveillance state, good. Good. Let their children grow in the maximum surveillance state, but at least they don't have OnlyFans. Grow in Keir Starmer's two-tier system. Perfect. You know, like, apparently the reason I'm mentioning this is because you had the exact situation when Twitter, where X, was asked by the British government, by Ofcom, to monitor the two-tier protests, right? Even though they were legal, even though, like, nothing was wrong, like, they wanted information on that. And so, no, like, British people, like, have to grow up. Like, they have to get where Eastern Europe was, right? Like, they have to get through their decades of pain and suffering and mistreatment by the government until they grow up and they build the skepticism and the mentality that maybe life is difficult and only I can affect the surroundings, right? So I can decide what's for my family, I can decide for what's for myself, but I should not be able to beg the government to monkey paw my wishes. And until that happens, you know, they deserve whatever it's coming there. It's fine. I disagree about Sargon for banning it. It's not the fact that they make money. It's the fact that they make money in easy and safe way that encourages others to do it. Yeah, but, like, I get it, right? But, like, literally the same mentality. The same mentality is used to censor him. Because back in 2016, you had politicians saying that YouTubers like Sargon are making a lot of money in an easy and safe way by peddling hate speech. It's the exact same argument, you just changed the variables, right? And you have, like, Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, being absolutely outraged that anyone with a microphone in a basement can make ridiculous amounts of cash in an easy and safe way that encourages others to do it. And it's like, okay, so basically you're legitimizing the root of the problem. Like, people shouldn't make easy and safe money if it destabilizes society. Okay, well, your British society came in an agreement that you're destabilizing it. And so, like, the demonetization of his channel and other people was done specifically because, yeah, you're destabilizing our society. You're making our children grow in a irresponsible manner. Instead of being pro-LGBT and instead of being citizens of the world, open-minded, ready for the future, you're making them close-minded and bigoted, and therefore you need to be demonetized. And so it's like, okay, you know, like, if you like this mentality, and at one point, he actually points to the root of the issue. It's like, oh yes, we're a Protestant nation, so, like, being Protestant is actually cool. And it's like, yeah, but notice how the Protestant nations, unlike the Eastern European nations, like, Protestant nations lack context, lack nuance, lack the ability to just mind their own fucking business. They have to be cheeky little shits. They have to control everything. They're control freaks. They're like people that think the end of the world is coming in 5 years or 10 years, and they need to control everything, otherwise bad things happen, right? And when you realize that, hold on a little bit, like, everything that has to do with cancel culture is very good for that type of ideology. Everything that has to do with moral busybodyism and Karenism is insanely good for that ideology. And then you notice that all the nations that are chipping up are Western nations. Meanwhile, the nations that still have religion and are pretty fucking chill are Eastern European nations that are Orthodox. Or Catholic nations like Hungary, right? Like, I'm just saying, you know, like, maybe this mentality of, like, trying to control everything, the mentality that there's no nuance or context, like, even a little bit of it is bad. Not all nations on planet Earth functions like this. Asian nations don't function like this, right? Like, Japan and China don't think like this. Eastern European nations don't think like this. Catholic nations don't think like this. I'm just saying, like, maybe being a traditionalist is a good thing, but, like, you should do a little bit of analysis. Like, not everything from the past needs to be preserved. And again, you know, like, the funny thing is that he's not even banning pornography. You can't ban pornography. Like, the reason you have OnlyFans is because technology exists. That's it, right? Like, if the same ability for ladies to take pictures of themselves from their bedroom and share them to the world existed in 1300, you'd have had the same level of pornography back then. The only reason that he is upset is because ladies managed to do this. And how do they manage to do it? Because of the internet, right? Now, if you ban OnlyFans, you go back to a time where OnlyFans didn't exist. And what was instead? You had like thousands of other websites, deregulated, unsupervised, with women doing the exact same shit. It's like, come on. And at the end of the day, like women could also find ways to operate without the website. Like they would just email the pictures. They would send the pictures on WhatsApp. Like you'd have a website where you sign up and you would just receive the pictures through an email. If you're not actually focusing on why it's happening and you're not addressing the actual problem, what you're doing is you're not decreasing demand. You're just trying to restrict access. When you're restricting access for something that people want, they find ways around it, which in my opinion is a good thing. Like maybe banning porn in Britain is going to lead people to find out various ways to change the internet so that it's more difficult to censor. It's fine. No, Japan does not think like this. Japan believes in in Taoism, and Taoism believes that everything is complex, right? Like everything has shades of white and black. They don't believe that evil must be eradicated because they think that it's universally impossible. Like it's like Don Quixote fighting against the windmills. Like you cannot eliminate evil, and so the mindset begins not at how do we eliminate evil from society, but like what is the level of evil that's acceptable. In fact, like the Japanese even have the mindset, it is what it is, the shikanaide thing, where they're saying, I guess it can't be helped. So no, they do not think like this. They have other issues, like everyone has issues, every culture has issues, but this is not one of them. Anyway. The actual problem is that porn was illegal for all human history until the 1970s. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. You had actual brothels in Europe legally operating. Some of them even ran, well, not directly, but by the church. How? Well, money changes hands. Like church was a political institution, and they were interested in making money, right? So how did it work? Well, the brothel would operate and they would pay money to some guy who would then pay money to the vicar, and there you fucking go, right? Like all of a sudden the sermons would not talk about it. Everyone pretended it's not there. The Orthodox Church, the way they justified brothels was that temptation is not a sin. We believe that Christians should never go to those places. But at the same time, they wouldn't try to shut them down. Like, they wouldn't order to shut them down because they were viewed as being part of the economic system. The people that shut them down were the communists, right? So no, like, throughout the history of mankind, like, you have brothels and with an entire culture in ancient Japan. And it's very well documented. Like, apparently, you weren't allowed, this is absolutely hilarious, but, like, you weren't allowed to go to 2 brothels. Like, you only had to go to 1, because if you cheated on the mistress, it was bad, right? They had, like, an entire rule book around it. Brothels aren't porn? Oh, fuck off. If you want to see, like, actual porn, right? The Romans. Like, you have sculptures with the Romans. Like, you can go on Wikipedia and you can see that they had penises with, like, 5 or 6 other penises attached. They were obsessed with it. No, like the real reason, like if you're talking about like pornography not existing, okay. If you look at the medieval time, like for most of human history, paper was insanely expensive. Vellum was crippling expensive. And so you couldn't just have artists just draw whatever, right? Like only the wealthiest, only the richest people would be able to draw. And so obviously, like, without that, the problem was access. It wasn't the fact that people wouldn't have allowed it. And then when you have the Renaissance, like, people draw a lot of naked statues, a lot of tits, and a lot of stuff like that. And, you know, like, at the end of the day, like, pornography is a vice, right? Like, these things were done for massive consumption. Like, if you're an artist and you want your painting in a museum or someplace, like, you can't draw something that's completely lewd, right? Even though, like, there are certain pictures, like, there is, if you look at the Renaissance period, like, there are various things that maybe you haven't heard about because of the shame. But if you look at Mozart, I think, right? Or Beethoven, who is it? Mozart. He's got like the lick my ass symphony, right? Lick my ass, it tastes so good. Like, but the whole thing is that those were human beings like us, and they were cheeky little shits like us, and they also trolled, and they also had various desires that they expressed it through art. Leonardo da Vinci based Gunnar. A lot, like for instance, did you know that most of the Disney artists, like they all doodle porn with their characters? Like there is an archive in Walt Disney with like the original animators drawing porn with every single character. It's like, again, like just because you don't know about it, it's because it was suppressed, but it doesn't mean like it didn't exist, right? Like they were people that had the same inclination for shitposting like we do. That was Ode Gotz, the Iron Hand, a German mercenary. No. No, it's actually a thing. Like like Lick My Ass is played at actual opera houses with an entire choir of women, and they're singing it beautifully. Look it up on YouTube. I'm not kidding. Like this is an actual thing. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Well, the problem is that if I find it, it's probably copyright striked, right? So like I can't show it on the live stream. But you guys can actually look, and it's hilarious. There's like many Romanian poets and people that students in Romania have to study when we grow up. And yeah, like there is this guy, he used to write children fables, Ion Creangă. Like he's a famous Romanian writer. And one of his stories is the story of the cock. And the story of the cock talks about Jesus and Saint Peter walking around, and eventually they find a farmer that's planting something. And Jesus asked the farmer, like, what are you planting, honest man? And the farmer, being annoyed because he is interrupted from work, he's saying, your mother's penises, right? Like he's upset. It's part of that Eastern European sarcasm. It's like, what are you planting? Your mother's penises. And Jesus says, well, if that's what you're planting, then that's what they will grow. And so he casts the miracle and then leaves. And during the harvest, it turns out that instead of grain, the man actually has penises and doesn't know what to do with them. And so he takes them to the market, and noble ladies come up, and it's like, how much for the penis? So, like, again, like, what I'm trying to say is that, no, like, in the past, writing and creating was an ability that was gated for most people because it was extremely expensive to do, right? It was crippling expensive. And so even the people that did manage to create, like, they have a lot of shit posts and a lot of stuff that is actually done for titillation. And I assume, like, people at that time would probably go to brothels, and they would probably go to the lady at the corner of the street. Anyway, 5 to 10% of medieval drawings are lewd, at least in the theme. I don't really know, like medieval drawings, again, like the main problem with them is that they were drawn on vellum. Vellum was crippling expensive, so like they couldn't exercise and, you know, like try to paint 1,000 times until they get it right. And so like when they did paint, it was usually commissioned by a church or by a king. And so you had to paint what was requested, and the request was done in public. Like, it wasn't a private request, you know, a private commission. It was like mostly, yeah, you're going to draw Saint Peter. You can't really draw Saint Peter in a lewd way, you know? Mihai Eminescu had the succubus story. It's true. There was an episode where Daisy was making out with Donald behind a tree that has Daisy hearts, many partners carved on it. Is it? I haven't seen that. But anyway, right. Let's talk a little bit about collective shout. So, like, the real reason people were upset about collective shout is that they decided to claim that they're fighting against sexploitation. You know, like Sargon, they agree. And in fact, like, Sargon called them based, right? So, look. I don't want to, but like, if the man is giving you material, what can I do, right? If you go on a live stream and you're going to say that collective shout is based, and we're going to be in a disagreement. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But I'm going to think that your moral principles are not human. Like, your morality, in my opinion, is not even human adjacent. Like, it's something bizarre, wicked, that needs to be fought. So maybe it's a good thing that your country has decided to put themselves behind the firewall. Like, maybe this is, your country's gift to mankind. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at Britain, right? And I'm wondering, is that the place where I like to live in? No. Do I want those people's morality to come over here? No. All right. So, the moment I'm like, well, maybe Sargon is different, and he goes, collective shout is based. And I'm now getting doubts. I'm not an unbeliever yet, like I haven't been converted to the darkness. But all I'm saying is that I'm starting to question, like my road of journey has begun. Collective Shout basically are a grifting organization, right? They're third wave feminist types, which claim to fight in order to protect women and children from sexploitation. But the way they're fighting is by going after the most petty things imaginable. So they're going after t-shirts, they're going after video games, they're going after bakeries, and this shows that, well, hold on a little bit, like, you're not talking about the actual issues, right? You're not talking about the cartels, you're not talking about, the government trying to cover up various scandals, right? You're not talking about political correctness that prevents victims from talking about that. Like, none of the actual difficult things that require people with funds and people with some renown in order to be able to push back against them. You're talking about video games and trivial shit. And they used payment processors, right? Like, they actually used unaccountable for-profit corporations and begged them to censor the internet. And this is why people got upset. This is why a lot of individuals, myself included, I'm shocked when Sargon is saying based. Because at this point, it's like, okay, well, it's based when you're getting censored, right? Because, like, one less censor to deal with. I mean, look, the funny thing that I noticed is that before 2014, the world was separated into two types of individuals. The individuals like Count Dankula, Sargon, and myself that were like, no, censorship is wrong. Especially when it's done to petty things, right? Like, if it's the most trivial shit imaginable, like a video game, a book, right? Like, something that doesn't even involve real people. It's just like some writing, like a story, or come on, like really? And then there were the people that's like, no, society has to be micromanaged, like we need to place some ladies in charge, and they get to decide which is acceptable and which is not. And people like myself and Sargon was saying, well, the moment you do that, like, you're going to experience human corruption. The people at the top that make those decisions are going to get bribes, and they're going to be corrupted, and they're going to abuse their power, which is literally what happened. And so, like, to see that now things are different is just mind-boggling to me. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, right. And it's also the fact it's like, it's a charity. Like the perversion of words that's happening, right? Because, like, when you hear a charity, you're thinking, okay, so, like, homeless people getting clothes. You're thinking of orphans getting food. That's what a charity means. But a charity in 2025 literally means a place that people can donate so that they don't have to pay taxes. And the charity does performance activism. BLM level noise making BLM level money. It's the same way how you get George Soros to be dubbed a philanthropist. Like the absolute butchering of words is the same thing with sexploitation. Like, what is sexploitation? What are they fighting against? Detroit, Life is Human. Some shovelware games on Steam that no one has heard about. Because that's another thing, right? Like, the reason people are pissed off is that they claim that Steam is selling rape games, right? And, okay, fair enough. What is the definition of rape? Well, in fiction, please tell me of a book that you've read in the last 5 or 10 years that appeals to feminist erotica and has, like, the sex scenes with full consent. Where like, before the act, both the man and the woman goes like, all right, we're going to perform the intercourse. And the woman goes, absolutely. And the man goes, but are you sure? And she goes, yes, I am sure. Are you, sir? Like, are you okay with me? Yes. All right. Are we in agreement? We are. We shall begin. Right? Like, when you write fiction, you need drama, you need tension, you need, like... But to be fair, you know, the Collective Shout organization did actually go after 50 Shades of Grey. For the reason that, well, I mean, it's a work of fiction that had non-consent. All right. But the thing is, like, on Steam, these video games that they're bitching about, they had like a dozen people playing. No more nor less. Like, it was the bottom of the barrel. These were like video games that most people didn't even know exist. Until they bitched and complained about, and it made them popular specifically because they talked about it. And so it's like, I'm sorry, but you're like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the reason they're doing it is because they want donations, right? Like, for instance, if I know that something exists and I don't want to promote it, like, let's say there's a YouTuber that criticizes me, and I look at their channel and they have like 30 views. If I legitimately wouldn't want that criticism to become mainstream, like, the last thing that I would do is to talk about that YouTuber, you know, just ignore him. Just ignore him until, well, he's getting, like, a significant traction in order to require people to address him. This is like, I mean, this is just normal behavior among humans, right? Like, they ignored the fact that their material is just smut. Who? Collective Shout? I wouldn't say they're low-level scammers. I think, like, they're pretty good scammers. Feminists were fine with BDSM or other material. But yeah, it's like the type of thing where, look, I understand, and I said this before, like, I understand why Belle Delphine got into trouble for her video. So, like, Belle Delphine made a video where her boyfriend was in it, and they filmed a scene where she was abducted and kidnapped and taken to a forest and gagged, and they had sex, right? So, like, that's the video. Now, I can understand why people are upset about that, because it has real actors, and if you didn't know it's Belle Delphine and her boyfriend, you wouldn't be able to tell if an illegal act was committed or not. Like, it looks as if, you know, it's a serious thing. And so, like, what if it's not actors? What if it's not done with consent, right? So, like, credit card companies and even the authorities, like, they would have to waste time to investigate every single such situation, right? So, like, they would have to call every single person making that type of a video and asking them, it's like, all right, well, we're doing an investigation. We want to talk with the girl. We want to see if she's fine. We want to see, right? So, like, I understand why that needs to be cracked down, because it's ambiguous. But, like, if it's a book, if it's a video game, if it's something that doesn't involve real people, there is no argumentation, because the only thing that you're asking is, like, okay, so art needs to have, like, our standards. Like, even if it has millions of people watching or playing, like, for instance, you have 50 Shades of Grey, right? Like, millions of people want it. Like, no, we have to decide that those millions of people aren't going to get it. And it's like, how many are you? Well, we're 5, but we're very moral people. I mean, obviously, you're going to get a lot of insults, right? And you're going to get people telling you to fuck off. Like, you're not capable of even convincing a large number of people on your side, but you're using your connections in order to tell other people, other adults, what they're not allowed to do. Obviously, you're a piece of shit. Like, if I was to do this to them, right, like, find out what they like, and simply be, it's like, okay, well, I'm also a moral person, and I don't think you should be allowed to do this. You know, social media. Social media is harmful. It is, right? Like, it causes addiction, it increases the levels of dopamine in people. It's bad. They shouldn't have access to social media at all. Right? Like, imagine how much hate I would have if I pushed for that. Every story written by a woman involving monsters taking advantage of women will now need to have consent sells down. Well, the problem is, like, the enforcement of this isn't the same across the board, right? So, like, you have different rules for different folks, and this is what actually generates the problem. Life isn't about hedonism. See, like, this is the interesting thing. Life isn't about hedonism. Like, okay, but life is also not about you telling the rest of humanity how to live their life. There's nothing stopping you from finding a woman that you like and having children and raising them in whatever way you wish. The only thing is, like, do you want peaceful coexistence or do you want people to fuck you in the ass? If you want people to fuck you in the ass, then, well, you go to their neighbors and you start lecturing them how to live their lives. And at some point, even your kids are going to go like, well, who the fuck is this cheeky little shit? Who the fuck is this guy to force others, right? Not convince them, to force others to live like him. And then your kids are going to be like, well, maybe we should also force people to live like we want. And this is what's happening in Protestant societies. Unironically, in the West. Like, this is why you have the hippie movement. This is why you have the communists. This is why you have, like, the satanic panic. You constantly just flick the switch on and off, generation by generation. Because you genuinely believe that everyone on universe needs to follow your morality. So you have, like, the religious folks that are batshit insane. And then you have, like, the woke people that are a rebellion against the religious folks. Like, if you notice why wokeness is 180 against religion, is because you had a generation, my generation, like I lived through it, where everything we did, everything we liked, whether it was heavy metal, whether it was video games, whether it was Dungeons and Dragons, whether it was Harry Potter, literally everything coming out, we would be told that it's evil and life isn't about hedonism, right? But, like, I'm sorry, life also isn't about hard work, sacrifice, and absolutely no fun, and making your job your own fucking identity, and making sure that GDP line goes up. Like, life isn't about the boomerist ideology either. I think that life is about what you want to make it. And so, when you have, like, those people that are suffocating you, an ideology will be created that's literally to spite them. Like, everything they stand for, everything they believe, has to be reverted like a mirror with the sole purpose to spite them. And this is how you got the woke. And now you get a new generation that's anti-woke. You're probably going to get, like, the most right-wing generation in existence, and everything they do is to spite the woke. Because the woke use the exact same problem, the exact same mentality. Like, everyone has to live like us. If you knew that there is a woman out there that doesn't believe a trans woman is a woman, like, they would go out of their way to fuck with that person. For no reason. For no reason whatsoever. It's just like her existence was an affront. And so, like, unless that ideology changes, unless that mentality changes, you're just going to have, like, generations after generations just hating each other. And meanwhile, here in Eastern Europe, we're chilling. We're not part of that shit. We don't care about that shit. Like, to us, it's trivial. Like, the idea of going after a video game is ridiculous. It's like, why are you wasting your time? What the fuck are you doing? You're going after a video game or a shirt? Are you fucking insane? Case in point, Zuberwaffen. Yes. Grilling is a luxury belief. It's my morality that you have to have babies to have more people. Well, that's another thing, right? Like, why should my children be your slaves? Seriously, like, why should I have more babies for you? With what right do you have to tell me to have more kids for you? Why do I care about you? Like, what have you done for me, actually? Right? Like, what was your contribution for me or my family or anything like that to demand that of me? You have no moral right. The reason people want more kids is not an existential one. The reason people want more kids is an economic one. Like, the boomers have created a society built around welfare, and now they're getting old, and they chose not to have kids, and they're suffering, right? If I wanted to have no kids, that's my business. If I think that I can find a way that when I'm old, I don't have to rely on the government or welfare, then that's my business, right? Now, when it comes about, like, having kids, why aren't you having 6 or 7 kids? Like, there's nothing stopping you, right? But it's the fact that a lot of these people that ask others to have kids for some reason don't have kids of their own. Like, I'm looking at Elon Musk, you know, he's the only exception. But most other people, like, I've seen people shaming Madame Savi, and it's like, well, Madame Savi has children. Or people shaming Dankula. Dankula has kids. I have kids, right? Like, all the gooners, all the bad people of society seem to have kids. Meanwhile, the shamers don't have kids. Right? Like Melody Mack, she left Twitter recently. She doesn't have kids. And I'm starting to wonder, like, are these just shellfish people that don't want to have kids but want to lecture others to have children for them? That's how it looks like, you know? Like Jesus said, judge them based on their fruits, right? Like, by their fruits you shall judge them. And I'm doing a lot of judging right now, right? Like, people like to flap their mouth. They have very glorious ideologies, very interesting ideologies, compassionate, empathetic. But when it comes to like, what are you producing? Well, what's your kids, man? Where's your kids? Like, you want everyone else to have kids. And by the way, I will tell you something else. This is very controversial. I'm probably going to get clipped and canceled for it. But I'm not going to get proven wrong. If you want more children, you need pregnant teenagers. I know it's shocking when you think about it. But like, if you look at America back in the day, or you look at societies now with high birth rates, pregnant teenagers are the trend. Like every single society with high birth rates, you have pregnant teenagers. So what do I mean by this? If you have a system like in the West, where you have education from cradle to grave, like the moment you're 2 years old, you're already placed in a kindergarten, and you're expected that your education finishes when you're 30, and only when you're 30 do you get a job, and only after you manage to have a stable income can you get a loan to rent a house or buy a place, right? Then you're going to get married at what, like 35, 40? All right, the risk of autism at that age, very high. The risk of infertility, very high. A lot of people at that age, they don't think life the same way that a teenager does, which is like, okay, let's risk it, let's have fun. No, like people at that age, they're like, well, how much is a child going to cost us? How are we going to afford the mortgage? What are we going to do, right? And if you look at America back in the 60s, right, when you had like high birth rates, it's like, no, people would get married and they would have kids, like in rural areas. By the time they're 17, they would probably have their own car and they would have 5 or 6 kids. So, like, it's not social media, it's not the internet. No, it's like the complete reorganization of your social system. You decided that welfare needs to be had. You decided that you can tell people, look, you don't need to have kids so that when you're old, someone takes care of you. What you need to do is just pay taxes, and the government will work it out. And when you're old, the government will be your daddy, and we're going to pay you. And so a lot of people said, well, okay, well, then I don't need to have my kids. I can live on someone else's kids. And so that changed, right? Like the whole thing with the teenage pregnancy. Like if you even suggest it now, I have heard people claiming European countries are filled with pedophilia because the age of consent is 16. And I'm like, well, hold on a little bit. Like the age of consent being 16 is usually for the people of that age, right? Like you usually expect that teenagers marry other teenagers. Like we're not talking about like an old person marrying a young one. Like even that, like if you have in Romania like a 45-year-old marrying a 16-year-old, like that is social taboo. That's not accepted, even though it's legal, right? Like most people are going to look, what the fuck? And they're probably going to blame the girl for being a gold digger as well. But the whole idea is that this whole system where you need to go to a university and you need to get educated and you need to waste your entire life on that, well, yeah, that reduces birth rates. Like, I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, I'm willing to change my mind if I see counter evidence, right? Like, if I see counter examples of nations that educate kids from cradle to grave and they have high birth rates, I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. It's not 16? No, in Romania it is 16. Did they change it? I need to know, because I need to tell my son when he grows up. This is important. Hold on. Age of consent in Romania. I think it's pretty much 16. In Romania, the age of consent is 16, yes. The legal age of criminal responsibility is 14. They also have a close age. Yeah, no, like I was correct. That's correct. Why are you gaslighting me by making me think that that I'm unsure? Because like this is important stuff to know. Like when my kid grows up, I need to tell him about these things. My parents had my older sister when both of them were 17 and 18. It's true. Look, I'm not saying that this is how things should be. I'm not saying that this is a good or a bad thing. I'm saying that it is. Like, looking at history, looking at various nations, looking at various places on Earth, this seems to be a constant trend. And no one wants to talk about it. And it's like, okay, fine. You know, like, blame pornography. Sure, whatever. The children yearn for the mines. Well, Minecraft is the most popular game for kids. So, you know, like, I wish I could make fun of that statement, but it's kind of difficult. People are stupid. I don't think it's about stupidity or not. I think it's more about hormones. Like when you're younger, you're more likely to take risks, right? Like this is why people that do extreme skateboarding or that are passionate in rock climbing or cave diving and all that shit, why most of them are teenagers, right? Because like people take risks. And so when it comes to having kids, it's like, okay, let's have a kid and then we'll see what happens. And usually what happens is that it's okay. It's okay because like if people from a medieval society that were dirt poor managed to have like 5 or 6 kids, surely in a modern society with the help of grandparents, surely you can have a kid, right? So that's how people think when they're young. But when they're old, when they're 35, they start thinking, okay, well, we need to send him to university. Do we have money for that? How are we going to raise him? Because both of us have jobs. Like, who's going to take care of him? And like now the conversation becomes like, should we? And before it was how many? And so when that changes, it's like, okay, well, you're going to have less kids, right? Like when you have why is it that immigrants have a lot of kids? They don't care, right? Like they don't think about how much is the university going to cost? But what happens if the mortgage doesn't get paid? It's like, well, I mean, it is what it is, you know. Do I still have kitties? I actually talked about them. They're with my parents. And the reason for that is my wife didn't want kids. My wife didn't want kitties when we had a kid. Like, what if the cat scratches the child? What if the hair of the cat goes? And it's like, okay. Send your kid to university. Well, yeah, see, that's another thing. It's like you would think that you can avoid it, but it's going to be very difficult to tell my wife that maybe it's not a good idea to send our kid to university. Like maybe it's better if he becomes a plumber, you know. But like, good luck having that conversation with your Eastern European wife. I'm sure it's going to go swell. That is very neurotic. Well, it is what it is, you know. Like sometimes you gotta make compromises. Like, if you have to choose between a kid and a cat, like, unfortunately, I made the wrong choice, I guess, huh? Or did I make the right one? Anyway. Planned Parenthood isn't about planning for parenthood. Sue them for false advertising. I'm Asian. My kid would be a doctor or an engineer. If your kid wants to be a doctor, I think that's a good thing because like you can't like first of all, doctors are always going to be needed, especially if he's a surgeon or something. Even if you have AI that would replace doctors, like no one would do it because you can't sue the AI. So you know, like people still want a doctor, and the only way to become a doctor is to finish med school. So like I would say that is needed. But yeah, I would say like the following professions are needed. Stuff that has to do with logistics. Stuff that has to do with food, stuff that has to do with plumbing, electricity, construction, right? Like all of these things are absolutely needed, and I don't think they're going to be replaced anytime soon. Poor people have kids because they're already poor. No, like poor people have kids because there's nothing else to do. And also, yeah, like they don't have universities, right? Like, as you can notice, the education is the problem. And I'm not talking education in the sense of like reading and writing. I'm talking education in the sense of a prison. Like you're going to school and you're wasting 12 years of your fucking life. And then you waste like 4 more years. That like 16. That's the life of a like the entire childhood is wasted on education, right? And like, don't tell me that everything that you learn at school is actually essential in order to have a normal life. Like, I get it, you know, like math, reading, writing, sure. But like, what about like individual curiosity? Like, why shouldn't the person just educate themselves? Like, how much of the things that you guys found out weren't because you actually went online or listened to a documentary or read a book and you managed to educate yourself on so many issues? Right? Like for instance, how did you learn how to pay your taxes? Like, did they teach that in school or did you learn by yourself? Right. So if you learn by yourself, then it means possible. And if it is possible, like, why do you need the government to destroy 16 years of your childhood? Especially because school over here in Europe is mostly still way more learning structure for factory workers. I think it's the same in the United States as well. Yeah, no, like if you actually want high birth rates, like first of all, I don't think that high birth rates is necessarily an existential problem. As I said, I think it's an economic one. But if you want high birth rates, it's not about pornography, it's not about rights, it's simply about welfare, and it's also about the schooling system. You get rid of these two things, you solve every single problem that modern society has. You solve the issue with the immigration, like no one wants to come if there's no welfare, and you also solve the issue with like people genuinely being frozen in institutions like universities and schools without the ability to start having their own families. I nearly died at age 13. Really made me like, wow, I've wasted most of my life wasting time and shit. Well, imagine having an epiphany at 13. Anyway, right. Someone followed me since they're 17. Jesus. Wow. I hope I didn't traumatize you. Cut all welfare. Look at families staying together. I mean, you literally have that with the Amish, right? Like, it's true. Like, if you have no welfare, that's what happens. You get, like, strong family connections. Personally, I think that birth rate issue is both a societal and an economic problem. As long as family court and the gender dynamics. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You know, like, that type of conversation is true. But it's also not true. It really depends where you're at. Like, there are a couple of cities and places where that's an actual issue. But I don't think, like, most people, they actually think, okay, well, if I get married, like, what is the law for divorce? What is right? What are the judges? What is the jurisprudence? Like, most people aren't like that. Most people that don't get married, they don't get married because of other reasons. You follow me since you was 15. Jesus. You get V-trauma. Anyway, right, let's go back to the Gamergate shit. Right, so, the whole thing with this activist group, right, like with Collective Shout, the reason I find them fascinating is because if you generally want the controversy to go away, right, like they're claiming they're getting harassment and shit. If you actually want controversy to go away, any PR expert, any individual that studies this will tell you that you need to shut the fuck up about it, right? Like, look at Trump. The whole Epstein situation, like, when he shuts up about it, it simply stops trending. Like, you look at the search results, you look at what people talk on Twitter, people stop talking about it. If he stops talking about it. When he brings it up, people immediately stop talking about it again. Like, the graph just spikes. Every single time someone mentions Epstein, boom, it goes back up. Again, this is not about Epstein. This is about public scandals. Whether they're good or bad, whether you're guilty or not, it's still a public scandal. And this is what's happening here, right? Like, they're in a public scandal. If your intention is for it to go away, you just shut the fuck up, and eventually it goes away. But when you keep bringing it up, and when you keep stroking the waters, well, this is why they constantly get this, what they call harassment. So they talk about the campaign where they went in and they bitched to payment processors, and this is why people hate them. It's not about the video games that, again, no one was playing. Like, their video games had 10, maybe 20 people that were active at one time. So, like, they were shovelware. The problem is, like, in the age when you have the Online Safety Act, that's basically that even Wikipedia is now considered a pornographic website, people are really upset about this type of behavior. And so, the thing that people are angry, rightfully so, they're associating them with the Australian government. Like, at this point, people are assuming that this is coordinated, that this is the payment processors, like, trying to distance themselves from the actual issue, and to pretend that, oh, well, we're innocent, like, we're not doing anything. And they're using activists to say, oh, well, I mean, we're pressured into censoring stuff. And people's wrath is directed at the payment processors, right? And so this is why the idea of being against the banking is becoming so popular that even the US president has recently signed an executive order to prevent literally this type of activity. Now, I don't know if the executive order is going to be successful or not. That's another conversation. But the public is so united against this, right? Like, you have Sargon and a couple of other British people over there. And over here, it's literally everyone else, left and right, doesn't matter, right? Like, you have people on the left that are with the artistic freedom. It's like my furry diaper porn fetish. And then you have people on the right that they have like their commentary reasons. It's like my cat boy Nick Fuentes got the platform. Everyone is together and everyone is telling, no, how about we tell the moral bin bodies from over there to go fuck themselves, right? And we focus on putting pressure on the culture to make the mindset that this is abhorrent. This is something that's not acceptable anywhere on earth, right? Like payment processors, for-profit entities should not become the new church. And everyone that thinks they do is a fucking moron. Like, I'm sorry, but like we need to have a real conversation. If you can't have a real conversation, you need to be at the kids' table, right? This isn't like I want. Okay, it's great that you want, but how do you want to accomplish it, right? Like, I understand you want. You're a needy person, okay. How do you accomplish it? Well, I want the payment processor. Okay, you're a moron. Because you're not going to get what you want. That's the problem, you know? And this is why I'm actually bewildered. When I watched the previous Archcast and I saw Sargon of Akkad, you know, justifying this monkey paw way. And he's not the only one. I saw the other guy from Rebel Media, I think he's called. Gavin McGuinness. Is he from Rebel News? I think he's from Rebel News, right? Gavin McGuinness. And he's like, oh, yes, well, of course I don't want pornography. But I feel violated that they're stealing my ideas and they're like hijacking my principles. And you're like, well, duh. Like, wouldn't you? Honestly, wouldn't you? Like, if you are placed in a position, you're the leader of MasterCard or Visa, right? And you have like some screeching feminists and you have like some pornographers and you have like other people that all want you to do things for them. Why wouldn't you say, you know what, fine, I'll do things for you. And you do things for them and you do something for you as well. And for your politicians and for your backers and for the people supporting you and for your self-interests. Because everyone wants you to do things, right? Isn't it better if you live in a society where people tell you not to do things? And they tell you just like, you're a payment processor, just shut the fuck up and process. And let the culture for the communities, the church, and the politicians. Wouldn't that be much better? I'm just saying, like, I think it would be better, right? Like, morality should be formed by the communities, by the politicians, but no, mostly by the communities themselves, right? Like, every community should set its own moral standard. And then you have, like, the moral standard that governs all the communities, which is the law, right? So, like, the law doesn't have to tell you whether you should smoke or not. It should be up to your daddy. If your daddy lets you smoke, that's okay. If maybe the law should say, okay, don't smoke before you're 14. All right, fine. But like, there should be like a couple of rules for everybody, right? Like cold, hard rules for everyone that are like the necessity to have a functioning society. Then like every community should set their own rules, and definitely not Visa and MasterCard. And this is why people were legitimately ticked off. It's not because of the video games or because of like people really wanted to play, what was it, No Mercy. No one fucking cares about No Mercy. It all went downhill since Sargon apologized to Jess Phillips. That is a good point. Sargon did apologize to Jess Phillips. Yes. If I was there, I would have brought it up. I need to confront him. I need a debate me bro moment with him. I'll have to go to him. It's like, Sargon, I know you're a busy man, but like, I'm coming to Britain. I'm going on the Lotus Eaters to tear you up. Going to have the debate me bro. Going to appear in real life. I'm going to manifest myself and you're going to convince me why your way of life is better for my children. Make me the argument. Why a man from Britain should shape the future of my child. He's sliding into boomer conservative territory. I think like he's becoming the reason why woke people exist, yes. See, like this is one of the things that I have an issue with the mentality of the internet. It's like, woke people exist because we're tolerant. And it's like, no, woke people exist because the government put money into woke ideology. That's literally it. That's why wokeness exists. It's because hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars were poured into creating woke people. Now, why did money manage to get passed? Well, it got passed because like most people consented it for it. It's like, why did people consent? Well, because people absolutely despise boomers. That's why. They hated everything that has to do with the boomer ideology. And they still do, right? Like, here's an example of boomer ideology. I watched a video from the Daily Wire, which had Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro is going there to explain to people why retirement is a bad thing. And in his mind, like everyone that retires dies within 5 years. Retiring is bad. You shouldn't retire. And that is boomer ideology. The boomer ideology states that everything in your life has to be about hardship and work. Your life needs to become, like your identity needs to become that of your workplace, right? So like your identity is you're a coder. Your identity is you're an engineer. Like that is your essence. That is who you are now. And everything that society does has to be to increase GDP. Like more money, more cash. Right? Like if you're doing anything else, if you're having a hobby, if you're doing anything relaxing, that's wasted time. And so the problem is that you end up with people that start wondering, like, why do we have to live this way? What's the point in life if everything is about hardship? And like, no, like people don't like being the ant people, right? There's no context. There's no nuance. Like the moment a fandom starts, you have like rock. They will say that the music is satanic. The moment like people start watching movies, they will say that slasher film is gore and smut and it's not okay, right? So like everything you do, like is going to be hyper criticized by the boomers, and that's when you get the wokes. That's when like fighting against the boomers and pissing them off becomes cathartic, and then the woke did the exact same thing, and now like fighting against the woke is cathartic. Like seeing woke people being upset on social media creates catharsis. Even if like other people suffer, like there was an individual not understanding, like why are people cheering when they see ICE rounding up people, and it's like, oh, that's so horrible. And it's like, yeah, they're cheering because you're upset. Oh my goodness, how can you think like that? It's like, well, ask yourself how you got into this situation. The same with the environmentalists, right? Like environmentalists blocking a road, and then you see cars bumping into them, and people are cheering. Why do people cheer? It's because like the environmentalists have managed to generate so much animosity and spite that people are happy. Sargon's problem is that he does not understand that he generates spite that will screw him over. His problem is that he views himself as defeated, like everything that he fought for hasn't been accomplished. And I think he is a bitter person that now wants everyone else to experience the same suffering. Like, if he got censored, it's fine if other people get censored, because censorship is the norm now. And while I understand where that mentality comes from, and while I understand that the next generation will probably be like that, right? Like, the next generation will spite the woke, which will cause the generation afterwards to spite them. The main issue is that you're never going to get outside of this wheel. Right, like the pendulum swinging from left to right. You're never going to get out of it. And it's not healthy. Like a healthy mindset is that, okay, instead of affecting the grand tapestry of culture, instead of affecting like stuff that are outside my control and it just pisses me off, why not just focus on my family and on the things that I can affect? Like, for instance, here's my problem with Sargon. He's a British person that thinks the government is out to get him. And, I don't have many arguments to debunk the fact that the government may actually be out to get him. But what I don't understand is why does he keep funding the government that's out to get him? Like, he started a successful business, right? Like, he's a very rich individual, much richer than I am. He's hiring and employing a lot of people. And by doing so, he is paying money to the government that is out to get him. And my question is, like, why doesn't he go to Poland? Why doesn't he go to Hungary? Why doesn't he do his business from over there and pay the taxes to a government that's not out to get him? And when, like you need to have like a voting or you need to have like a protest or something else, he can still go to Britain. Like when in 2025, you can literally take a plane and fly over there. It's a 1-hour flight. Like why isn't he taking his resources and giving it to a government that's not out to get him? It's like, well, England is his home. Okay, sure. But, like, if your father is an abusive drunk and your mother is a prostitute, like, maybe it's time that you go and you make your own home, right? Home is where your family is. That's where home is. Home is not where you happen to be born. So again, I like, fine, like, if he wants to criticize society and he's like, well, pornography is ruining. Yeah, I think his mentality is ruining. If most British people would behave the way I'm saying, it's like, okay, this country is fucking me over. I have the opportunity in 2025 to simply leave. I don't have to pay my taxes to the government that is interested in my well-being and wants to take it away from me. And so you go to other places, and if all British people would do this, I guarantee to you that the government would stop its policies. Because like the whole purpose when the governments realize that it can take money from the people is that people stop being voters and citizens and they became things to be exploited. And Sargon is literally the peasant that wants to be exploited by the noble. Like people are telling him, dude, go to another noble. Like the noble on your land is exploitative, right? Go to another noble. Oh, but I was born here. This is the village that I was raised in. I cannot abandon my village. Okay, fine. Then stay and get exploited. And bitch and complain about other people that live on other plantations with nobles that aren't exploiting us as much. Sure, fine, whatever. Then it'd be just immigrants left. No, the government would never allow that to happen. Because they don't want to, the immigrants are the things that are the reason that they stay in power. They're the reason they have the grifts. Like, let me explain to you the British immigration system in a way that everyone gets it, right? So, let's look at the hotel industry, right? The hotel industry makes a lot of money during season. During off-season, however, the hotel industry makes jack shit. Now imagine if the government comes in and they book your hotel all year round. And you're making money hands over fist now. And you get to even set your prices. You know, like before, a room would have costed $200. Now you can put it at $400. The government pays, right? So all of a sudden, your entire hotel is stacked to the brim with immigrants. Now, they're not your customers. They're not paying you $400 per room. The government is. Now, the government, they don't actually go to McDonald's to work for a living, right? They're not flipping burgers. They're not going to Lotus Eaters and working for an entire day in order to make an honest living. No, the government takes money from citizens, right? So the government takes money from Carl, takes money from his Lotus Eaters, and gives it to the hotel owner, right? And Carl consents by sitting there. He wants the government to take money from him. Like, he's fine with that. He's fine with the situation. Now, if he went to Poland, the government would have difficulty. Like, where is the government taking money from? Sargon is gone. Like, the Polish people are taking money from him now. And so, like, he's not over there, right? Like, the government is confused. What do we do? Right? Now you ruin their grift. Do you see the issue? Right? Now, the hotel owner, he's a smart man. He understands politics, unlike Sargon. He understands politics in the sense that money talks. He understands that all politicians are interested in liberty. It's just like some politicians want to preserve it, while other politicians want to dismantle it. And so he actually takes some of his earnings, he takes some of the money that he got from the grift, and he is funding the politicians that continue the grift. Like, he is going to fund the left-leaning politicians, he's going to fund their campaigns, he's going to fund the NGOs, he's going to fund all of the institutions that are keeping the grift going, right? Meanwhile, on the right, how many people are, like how much of the income that right-wingers make actually go into funding organizations that protect their freedoms and interests? Very few, right? Very few. And so, like, you can't wonder, it's like, oh, why is everyone left-wing? Oh, democracy doesn't work. No, democracy works perfectly. You just do not pay money to the people that follow your interests. And you can't expect your interests to appear when the other side has armies of activists, armies of university professors, armies of everything. And on top of that, you're staying there so that they can take more money from you. And you're like, well, it's my home. Okay, well, fine. Your home, currently, daddy is taking money from your wallet and he is giving it to other people. And you stay with daddy. Like, why do you keep staying with daddy? Go and make your own home. Fuck off, you know, take your wife and leave that household. It's toxic. Voice your dissatisfaction, just not too loudly. What am I talking about? Like, dude, you can go to Poland and you can say literally everything you want. In fact, if he goes to Poland, he can stop censoring himself. Right? Like, right now, he's actually afraid because the British government can kick in his door, can send the billies to arrest him. If he goes to Poland or he goes to Hungary, he can literally say the exact same thing and even more. I'm not saying to censor himself. I'm not saying to shut the fuck up. I'm saying, like, stop paying the system that's exploiting you. I don't think he can have an LLC for a company of his size, though. Because he's I mean, technically he can, but, like, he would operate it very difficultly. Shows you why Romania is what it is. What exactly is Romania? I'm actually very happy with where Romania is. Like, unironically, compared to Britain, Romania is pretty good. Like, look at the crime rates. Look at the fact that 90% of us own homes. Look at the divorce rates in Romania compared to UK. Like, this actually shocked Carl, right? Like, he expected Romania divorces to be skyrocketing, but in reality, they're less than a third of what the UK has. No, I'm pretty happy with where Eastern Europe is in general. Like, when it comes to this stuff, like if you're actually talking about morality and stuff, sure, it's not perfect. You know, like, I agree, especially in 2025, like, few nations are. But if I was, like, when I was a kid, and I'm not kidding about this, like, when I was a kid, I actually wanted to live in Britain. Like, this was one of my dreams. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm going to get out of this shithole when I grow up. But then you grow up and you start looking, it's like, okay, my country has problems. I can't deny that. Like, we're a young democracy. There's a lot of corruption. There's like, yeah, it's not good. But then you look at stuff like what's like in Britain, what's like in Germany, what's like in Russia, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think like this place is so bad. Sure, it could improve. Like, there's a lot of issues with it, but like, holy shit, you know, at least my government doesn't try to put me in prison because I have different opinions. The reality is, like, everyone lives in Eastern Europe. They just didn't realize it yet. Arch PayPal update. Arch account was deactivated due to error. And he will be getting his account back. Oh my god. Like, the idea that one day you can just be happy and you're doing your banking and it's like, oh yeah, your account was terminated due to suspicious activity. You're like, what? And you're panicking. You're going through horror. And then it's like, oh yeah, we made a mistake. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Relax. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. See, you stay in your home. Oh, I was about to leave Romania. I was about to leave Romania during the pandemic. And I actually ended up changing my home during the pandemic because I used to live in a city. And if the pandemic would have lasted a little bit more, or if they would have said that every single person is going to have to get vaccinated or go to prison, because like they started flirting with that type of law. I think it was in Austria and Italy. And I was like literally going like, nope. No, I'm not consenting. Like, if they do that, I'm leaving my home. And I told my wife, like, she was freaking out. And I said, I don't care. Like, we're leaving. If they do that, we're leaving. It's not necessarily because, like, I think the vaccine is bad or anything like that. But, like, if the government has the ability to simply tell people, like, you got to take a vaccine or you go to prison, I will be like, no. No, absolutely not. And then I left my neighborhood where I grew up, and I left my home because I went to a rural place. I was like, fuck that shit. They're never going to lock me in my house ever again. Now, if stuff was to go as bad as it is in Britain, where you notice that the way of life, the quality of life is dropping dramatically, and there is no sign of improvement in the future, and that all of your grievances and everything you care about is actually being put aside, then yeah, I would probably live. I mean, dude, like, you're still living in Europe. Like, is it really that weird if an American from Texas decides to go and live in Illinois? Like, I don't get it, you know? Like, imagine you're in Texas and you're having, like, a lot of issues, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to travel somewhere else, and you go to another state. No, I think, like, again, I can't understand this mindset. Like, it's fine if you have it. It is. But, like, you're literally funding your exploitation. Like, if the government is definitely saying, yeah, we're exploiting you, and you still decide to stay there, I think you deserve it. Now, of course, the people that don't have money to live, they don't deserve it, right? Like, if your justification is, I can't afford it, fine. But we're talking about the fact that you have the ability to get on a plane and get back to Britain in 1 hour. Like, come on. And the plane ticket isn't that fucking expensive. It's not like you can't see your folks anymore or your family. I'm in the countryside. Didn't get any of that bullshit in New York City and other US cities. Well, yeah, that's why I went to the countryside. I was like, okay, so I have like a private property here. If they ever get with the pandemic measures, I can still leave my house. Like, there's not going to be police officers on the street asking me for papers, and that was that. Screw that, I can barely afford it, and I plan to move if I get a green card. If Ash moved to the United States, he would be a big government guy, but closer to state control. Oh, they're called Bobbies, not Billies? Alright. Fine. When Carl returns to the UK, he will be arrested. Remember Callum. I don't think he will be arrested. Like, look, he's no Tommy Robinson, okay? Like, even the UK has some limits. And if you are to the point where if you leave your country and you come back, you get arrested, then the justification for leaving actually has increased dramatically. Like, let's be honest. Anyway, right. Viva la liberté, carajo. I will have to go now. I'll upload my videos on my other channel, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Tomorrow, I could try and get Madame Savi on. I will have to see her schedule. And we will have a more interesting stream. We will probably talk about this issue again. Because she was inspecting a lot of the collective shout activity. And yeah, thank you guys for coming. And tomorrow, same hour. Take care.